Now, before you go abroad for a holiday, it's important to check if the country requires certain vaccinations. Dr. Graham Fry of the Tropical Medical Bureau joins us now with advice on travelling to some of the world's most popular holiday destinations. Good morning, Graham. You're very welcome back. Following on from Alan's report there, let's go straight to Thailand. You would recommend that all travellers going there should have a tetanus, hepatitis A and typhoid shots, yes?
I think so, yeah. I think it's not worth the risk. I mean, basically your health is so important for you, not just for today, but for the future. And if you get a condition like hepatitis A, which is from food and what you eat and what you drink, you're going to be off work for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. You're going to be off alcohol for 12 to 18 months, which many people feel is much worse, but you're going to be sick for a long time. So the vaccination is so simple, so easy, very seldom cause any issue at all. So why not do it, basically? What's the point in taking the risk?
Okay, fair enough. And there are issues with water and hygiene in some cases in that part of the world. I didn't think that typhoid was still an issue in Thailand.
Typhoid occurs almost everywhere throughout the world where it's hotter, in the hotter areas throughout the world. So we do get occasional outbreaks even here within Ireland, but that's really rare. But we certainly see it in many of the hotter countries. The vaccine is good. It's not perfect. It's one of the weaker vaccines that we have, so it's not as good as some of the other vaccines, but it does give you very good cover. And again, typhoid, I've seen very few cases of typhoid over the years, Mark. But after saying that, if you do see a case of typhoid, you're never going to forget it.
Tetanus, most people associate with, to prevent rabies or being bitten by a dog. Is that an issue in Thailand?
You're certainly, if you get bitten by a dog, you've got two big issues there. Three. One is the infection just from the bite. Second is a tetanus, which is a different disease. And then, of course, the actual rabies, a major problem. If you get a huge bite, a big dog, big bite, that's easy. You have to go to the hospital. That's obvious. It's when you get a little nick and you don't think it's anything serious, that's when you might have really significant problems.
Okay, so all travellers going to Thailand should have a tetanus, hepatitis A, typhoid shot. If you're going trekking out into the country, out into the rural areas, hepatitis B cover and rabies shots.
Yeah, that's because your risk is going to be higher. Now, obviously, you can get both of those diseases within the cities also, but when you're out in the countryside, you're probably adventure sporting, you're probably at a higher risk. So under those circumstances, it might be worthwhile considering. Right. Depends on the person.
So if you wanted to cover everything and you wanted all of those, what would the cost be roughly?
Okay, well, I mean, the standard ones would be about 110, 115 euro at the moment, maybe 120, that sort of price range. Once you start adding in a rabies cover, it's about another 90 euro. Once you add in hepatitis B, it's about another 40, 50 euro roughly.
It's quite expensive.
It
Mind
is,
you,
but then
if you get any of these,
it's a disaster.
The cost, yeah.
And of course, the
malaria tablets, if you're going anywhere into the Far East, you should take malaria tablets anyway, shouldn't you?
No, you don't need malaria tablets for the vast majority of people going down to Southeast Asia. Many of the big cities, many of the areas that most tourists go to, you don't need to take them. When you're going off into the back of beyond, then yes, it may become an issue. But most of our patients don't need them.
Okay, all right, let's go to Europe. Most people would say, well, sure, Spain, Portugal, Europe would be fine. Sure, they're the same as ourselves. But if you're going to stay for quite some time, and a lot of people will go to Spain and Portugal, south of France, etc., for the summer because they have a place there. So it's a long stay. You would recommend a hepatitis B, A, and a typhoid shot.
Well, okay, now typhoid would be one of the least used ones for that part of the world. Hepatitis A, hepatitis B, there is a nice combined vaccine which makes it very easy. Hepatitis A is a foodborne disease that occurs everywhere throughout the world. We have had it within Ireland, so it certainly does occur throughout. Hepatitis B is the accidents, it's the actual blood contact, sex obviously as well, but it's the actual risk that you might have an actual accident during these times. And I'm not sure if you've been to parts of Europe, but the way they drive is a little bit different and you certainly do not want blood transfusion.
Yeah, and the chances are that if you're going to Europe and it's warm, you'll be on a bike, you might fall, you might have a scrape, etc., etc. And there are issues with water just about everywhere. No malaria that you would need to worry about. So the combined Hep A and B shot, how much?
Combined hepatitis A B is given on 3 occasions over a 6-month period. It costs about 40 euro per vaccine, so it's not a hugely expensive vaccine. But once you've finished it, hepatitis A should last at least 25 years. Hepatitis B should last for the rest of your life. So that's well worthwhile doing. Every child in Ireland is now given hepatitis B when they're actually born. Okay. So in the days to come, this is not going to be an issue because those kids are going to be covered.
The only thing is, of course, is that if you're going to Spain, France, Portugal, etc., the health services there are pretty good.
They're excellent.
If you think there's any issue whatsoever, go to hospital straight away.
Yeah, but can I just mention, Mark, it isn't just going to go into the hospital. It's actually you come across a very bad accident. Somebody's had a dreadful accident, you run over to help them, and you're getting their blood onto your hands. So it's not just an accident where you're injured, it may be somebody else and you're trying to help.
Right. Now, funnily enough, I think if any of us were going to Africa, we'd all think, right, I want as many shots as is humanly possible. I don't know whether that's unfair or not, but you would recommend all travellers tetanus, hepatitis A and typhoid, as with Asia. If you're going trekking, hepatitis B and rabies. And if you're going to the rural areas, you need to be careful of tuberculosis, meningococcal meningitis and diarrhoea.
Well, I mean, any of those conditions occur, and obviously it depends on the person, what they're doing, where they're going, why they're going, what they plan to do while they're there.
Well, say, for example, South Africa now would be, I suppose, considered to be one of the more civilised
Absolutely
areas.
Fantastic location for a holiday trip. And generally speaking, the people are going to need just the actual small number that we've talked about there at the start. But those who are going trekking, I mean, we had friends recently who went from Egypt down to Cairo, to Cape Town, and they went cycling the whole way down. Now that is a totally different trip to the 2-week holiday maker who's just going for a jaunt and a safari for a day or two, basically. So it just depends on the people, where they're going, what they're going to be doing while they're actually there, and what the risk factors are thought to be during their trip. And of course you never know that until afterwards.
Okay, just a few necessary medication for every trip. Tablets for nausea, tablets for diarrhoea, cream to treat mosquito bites, some painkillers, anti-inflammatory medication. Other trip-specific medications that you would recommend, depending on your itinerary: malaria tablets, antibiotics, altitude sickness tablets, oral rehydration sachets. So in general, if you're going to somewhere reasonably exotic, and there may be a little bit of relaxation, but also possibility of adventure, what kind of money would you be talking about to kind of cover yourself against most eventualities?
I think honestly, for most people going, it's going to be somewhere between 150 and 200. That sort of price range under most circumstances. Sometimes you have to add in others, but once they've had them once, they're going to be covered for the rest of many years.
Okay, I know some people will say, oh, for God's sake, I can't afford that, but if it goes wrong, you could be paying for it for the rest of your life.
It's a disaster, absolute disaster.
Okay, Tropical Medical Bureau for all your foreign travel needs. Graham Fry, thank you very much indeed. We'll take a break, see you back here in a few minutes' time.